Hello. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. As you can see, instead of coffee, I'm holding a beer, and it is evening time here. I'm cooking up some dinner. It's going to be probably a little bit of a shorter one, but I just wanted to get this in because I wanted to show off my SpongeBob t-shirt. Also, I have to make it a little shorter because I have dinner cooking. I can't burn it, you know what I mean? So, got an IPA here. Am I allowed to drink in a video? I feel like I am. Yeah, Lagunitas IPA. So, today I wanted to talk about change. And my thoughts on it, my perspective, my experience with it. I want to start off by saying that I think change is pretty difficult for most people. And if it's not, good for you. Change for me, it's weird because we all want change. But actually changing is like painful almost because it takes us out of our comfort zone. And this actually ties back in with the risk video. Now, I'm not sure what to say too much about change. I don't think I necessarily have some advice or idea necessarily that I want to kind of share. Maybe just gonna free for all this one, like some of the other ones, like how I have like ideas about them and like solutions or whatever, or my personal like what I do to deal with it or whatever you want to call it. So as far as change goes, I find myself wanting it so badly, like more than anything else, right? Because like, you know, you're depressed, whatever, and then you are like, if only I could have this, or if only this change could happen, then my life would be better, right? But we still don't do that. And like, why is that? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I guess it's just being not in your comfort zone, because it feels great to be comfortable, right? It's like this, like, you've trained your brain to like do these routines and to like do these things that keep you comfortable, and then all of a sudden you just like slam your brain with all this new information and you're like, all right, I'm doing things completely differently now. And most of the time when you try to change something and you try to start a new habit or something like that, you do it, you're like going at it, you're going strong for like a month or whatever, 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're like, you just either snap back into old habits, or like you just like you can't keep doing it, you give up or something like that, right? And then you beat yourself up over it, which keeps you stagnant. It keeps you in like one place, and you're just like, oh man, if only I had to like followed through on that thing, if only I had followed through on like continuing exercise, then things would be better and I wouldn't be so miserable. I feel like everybody goes through that. Right now, I'm making a change in my life, I would say. I'm starting a new part-time-ish job. It's not something that I would normally have signed up for. It was just an opportunity that was given to me, and instead of sitting around debating the logistics of it and debating whether or not it's for me or something like that, I just decided I'll start tomorrow. Now, I don't know if this was a good idea or not, but, well, time will tell. I'm just going to jump into it and see what happens. Usually I'm more calculated about things, and I'll be like, I don't know, weigh the pros and cons, to take advice, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I will say this about that: don't do that. Jumping straight in is the best way, I think, personally. Not recently, but about a year ago, I was going to take a job, and my friend convinced me not to take that job because he said that I wouldn't like it. And maybe I wouldn't have liked it. Who knows? I never gave myself the opportunity. I was like already about to do it, but like because it took so much time and I had so many days to like kind of like determine whether or not it was really for me, right when it got to the kind of boiling point of like about to start it, I kind of just backed out. I was like, nah, this isn't for me. And whatever, you know, I don't care. I don't like beat myself up over it or whatever. But sometimes I wonder, like, how would it be differently if I had started that job, you know? Probably not that different. Anyway, regardless of that, I would say that the reason why I jumped in and said, I'm going to do it tomorrow, so I wouldn't have time to think about it. I would just do it and see where it takes me, right? And if I hate it in a month, whatever, then I'll leave, you know? I think, so I just got an idea. I think that it's really easy to take life really seriously, and it's really easy to like treat life like really caring about certain things, like, oh, is this going to be the best thing for me? And this is like that millennial fallacy, and I think a comedian talked about it. I don't remember his name. I forgot his name. The guy who made that Netflix show. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, he talked about how we always have to find the best reviews for things, right? Like, we have to find the best restaurant. We have to, like, have the best hotel review. Like, everything has to be the best. But, like, imagine, like, just, like, walking out on the street and to in like, a new place and just, like, walking into a restaurant that you've never been to and, like, not checking the reviews, you know what I mean? Like, people don't do that anymore, right? And so it, like, ties into, like, FOMO and all that. It's like, oh, you know, all my friends went on this, like, trip. And, like, I didn't go because I had something else to do or whatever. And it's like, and then you're like, you hate being in that place because you're like, oh, I'm missing out on all this stuff. And like, you stop living in the moment and you're just like fantasizing about how great that other trip could be. And then you like, or like you see like people younger than you like doing crazy cool things or something like that. And you're like, fuck, oh no, like I'm missing out on life. I'm missing out on all these things. And so I decided that I'm going to try not to do that as much. And it's funny because I've left a lot of Google reviews, you know, like every time I've been to a restaurant, I'm just like, Google review. I'm like one of those, like, whatever, what are they called? Local guides or whatever. Yeah. And like, I try to kind of mess around with the reviews. If anyone ever finds my reviews online, some of the stuff I've written is kind of ridiculous, but I'm trying to take it less seriously. I'm trying to take life less seriously and just kind of jump into the change because why not? Fuck it, you know? It's just, what's the point, you know? What's the point of like weighing all the pros and cons? And I mean, obviously in like serious life decisions, it's like important and valuable, but like at a certain point, it's like, you just have to make the choice and just stick with it and then just like see what happens. And then like if let's say like you're given a bunch of choices, like let's say you have like 1 month, right? And you can make like a bunch of choices during that month, but like you choose to only make a few select choices. And because you're weighing the pros and cons and you're taking your time and making sure that everything is perfect. If you had just made more choices and took less time to make those choices, I feel like it would equal out to being about the same, right? Only like the most important ones, like seriously life-changing decisions, like finding a new apartment or something like that. But even then, you know, I remember the last place I was living at, I like ended up moving out because life situations, blah, 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 like really quickly. And then I ended up finding this place that I'm living in now, and I found it really quickly. And I just was like, whatever, fuck it. Like, I just need to get out of there. I'm going to sign it right away. And I ended up loving this place, you know? And like now I kind of want to get out of here too. And I've been just like taking my time. I was like, this place isn't good enough. This place isn't good enough. And I just like wasted all this time when I could have just like picked one and just said, all right, we're going here. That's it. We're going. And then I just move forward and I do the next choice, you know? And then I feel like the more choices you can make, the more fulfilling and like the better, or maybe not better, but like the more exciting your life will be. And then like FOMO doesn't really exist because you're like making all these choices and you're not like relying on all this pros and cons list and all this stuff. You're just kind of like, you're living, right? Like it's like it's so easy to be stagnant because you want to be comfortable. You want to have the best food. You want to have the best place to sleep. You want to have the best. But like, it's not all about the best, because some of the worst experiences that I've had have been the most memorable because they're freaking hilarious later on. So having bad experiences in a lot of ways is like good too. It's like good for you. And yeah, I mean, that ties back into depression too, you know? It's like, I'm not willing to like move my comfort zone and make a change in my life, so I'm like depressed. And it's like, if you had just made the decision to like move forward with the change, like even if you fail halfway through, whatever, then you fail. But then like you go again and you make another decision to change, and maybe it's from like a different perspective, and you keep making the decisions, and like you don't sit there and weigh the pros and cons, and you just keep making those decisions, and then eventually it'll get you to a place where like things are different. And then like those thoughts that you had like 6 months ago or whatever, it's like, oh, well, things actually changed, and not the way that I expected it to, because life never goes in the way you plan it. Because it's like, you can sit there and plan the most perfect trip ever. Actually, I have a perfect example of this. And you know, the funny thing is, I say all these things, but obviously I don't follow them all the way through. And it's like, I don't follow my own principles a lot of the time. But I'm saying this and I'm talking like this right now because it kind of makes me realize, like, oh shit, I already knew the answer to this. I'm just like spewing it out now into a camera. Anyway, I went to Japan. I've been to Japan twice. Fantastic place. I like it. I'm a weeb, so it was great for me. I wouldn't really consider myself like a full-on weeb, but whatever. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I like Japan. I like anime. All that kind of stuff. The first time I went, I had this very, like, these very grandiose ideas, and then this, like, perfect thing that I wanted from it. I was like, this is going to be the most perfect trip, and I ended up spending, like, so much money, and I went with my family, and, like, I planned every little detail. Like, we're going to go here this day. Like, every day had multiple things to do. Every hotel was pre-booked. Everything, and, like, the best hotels, like, the best, and I had, like, a first-class flight, everything. It was just, like, super expensive, whatever. And it was great. It was fantastic. It was good. But there was like certain things that didn't live up to my expectations, because I set my expectations so high and I wanted everything to be perfect that like when it didn't meet that perfectness, it like everything came crumbling down. And so the second time I went, I was just like, whatever. Let's book some Airbnbs. I picked like the cheapest Airbnbs. I picked like the cheapest flight I could find. I flew for literally, I'm not even exaggerating, less than 1/10 the amount that I paid for the first time. And I'm not even joking. I feel like the flight was more comfortable on the cheaper flight, even though, and it's like the Airbnbs were more comfortable than the hotels. And I paid the whole trip in total. I paid, I would say 1/10. No. In total, for myself and all the bookings and everything like that, and the food probably, just for myself, I'm not talking about like my family and stuff like that, and I'm not talking about the friend that I went with, but I believe that the second time around, I paid less than 1/10 or 1/15 of the amount that I paid the first time, and it was better. I didn't plan that much, but I ended up just like walking around and wandering around like, whoa, we stumbled upon this. It was great, whatever. We also went to China on that second trip too, so it was like a little bit more like unique or whatever you want to call it, because we visited 2 countries. But anyway, moral of the story is I came in, free-for-alled it, and the free-for-all, wandering aimlessly, making the plans as we went along, was just better, because I didn't have expectations. And so whenever something cool happened, I was just like, whoa, nice, let's do this, you know? So yeah. So I don't know if that should probably be expectation. That video should be called expectation, but it's still about change. Basically what I'm saying, that example was to explain that planning and making everything perfect kind of prevents you from making changes. And if you really want real changes in your life, you just have to go for it and not sit around thinking about the implications of that change. And I'm still trying to live by that as well, but we'll see how this job goes, and we'll see if I made the right decision, but I think I will. And then, like, even a month from now, if I don't like it, I'm not going to beat myself up over it, because I took that leap and I did it, and I'm not going to sit around thinking, what if, whatever, you know? I just did it, whatever, who cares? And then I'll move on to the next decision. I'll move on to the next one, and hopefully by the end of all the decisions, I'll have had the change that I want in my life. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Yeah, so it's 15 minutes. My food is going to burn soon. It's always a pleasure to do this. I forgot to say welcome to Koala in the Basement or whatever. Oh man, maybe I should change the intro. Hello, welcome to another Koala in the Basement video. Yeah, there we go. That'll be the... Wait, don't I say that every time? Yeah, probably. Anyway, take care. Peace.